All right. Welcome once again to the beatzillapdx official news break. And this is a Black History Month moment. And, this Black History moment is coming from a not so usual suspect, as you can see on your screen. This is a video from TikTok. This video runs for about 4 minutes, but I want to let it, give it time to go ahead and run. And then I'll go ahead and give my commentary on this after it's finished playing. He says a lot, so I want y'all to really pay attention to some of the stuff he's going to lay out. But we don't typically get a chance to hear the opinion or the take that you normally hear from the grassroots, the new Black media voices, from a person from this group. But today, in Black history, this is a Black History Month moment. And we're going to share it with our non-melanated brother today. And he has a moment to tell y'all something about his own community. So here we go.
Folks, I hate to say it, but white folks are largely professional gaslighters when it comes to race. We are professional liars when it comes to race. It's part of white supremacy and how it functions and how it works. From the very first African that was enslaved, we have been gaslighting Black folks as white people. That's our culture. That's our tradition. That's our indoctrination. And that's what we do. And that's what we do best. We lie every single day. And we lie to Black people. We lie to each other. We lie to ourselves about race. We gaslight. Gaslight, if you don't know, it's a psychological term. It's where the abuser tells the victim that this reality of you being abused is not really happening. It's just something in your imagination. You're being paranoid. You're being too sensitive. All this abuse is not real. And if it is real, it's only because you deserved it. I was trying to help you. It's justified somehow. We have always justified our racism. And if we're not justifying it, we're denying it. If we're not denying it, then we're deflecting it. The last thing white people would do is simply acknowledge the truth racially. That's why I say we're bullshit artists. We are professional fucking liars and gaslighters. That's exactly what we do as white people, and that's the fucking truth. And if you deny it, you're a fucking liar. 90% of white people today, right now in America, no matter how young or how old, we've been so profoundly indoctrinated that we cannot simply acknowledge the truth racially. Can't do it. And if we do it, there's a but or a deflection. Can't do it. 90% of us will not do it. So this is why we are gaslighting academically. This is why Black history all around America right now is being criminalized. That tradition of gaslighting, that tradition of hiding, that tradition of pretending racism is not real is their educational system. And they want to protect that tradition. They do not want the truth to be out. People know that the hope is with the younger generation. Isn't it what they always say? I hope the younger people, I hope the next generation will do better. They know that if the truth ever gets taught racially, that's why CRT is banned. That's why if you talk about race, it's banned. All around America, states, counties, schools, teachers, threat of arrest, Black stories, beautiful Black books, banned, erased, censored, libraries, empty, criminalization of Black history, folks. Because why? Because white people are racist. White people are all about denying. White people are all about gaslighting. That's our tradition. Deny, deflect, never teach the truth, never acknowledge the truth. Because if we do, if we teach the truth, what will happen? White supremacy could be threatened. Economic advantages for white people, the dominant position could be threatened. They're threatened, like all bullies are threatened. They're threatened by their victims. So of course they don't want the truth to be taught. So what do? They keep it whitewashed. They keep the lies perpetrating, the narratives, the whitewashing. Pretend George Washington, Andrew Jackson were heroes as they owned hundreds of slaves. Keep pretending. Keep denying. Keep whitewashing. Let's not learn about black heroes. Let's not learn about black stories. Let's not learn about black history. Let's not learn about black contributions. Why? Because that would be the truth. And that's not our tradition. We're supposed to promote whiteness. That's how white nationalism works. They pretend that, we're innocent. We're trying to protect the sensitivity of our white children. No, you're not. You're trying to keep white supremacy and your privilege alive. You want to be on top the same way that your parents wanted to be on top and their parents wanted to be on top. That's how white supremacy works. It's a power thing. The idea of dismantling white supremacy cannot happen until we can teach our children the truth.
And there it is, family. So, taking in everything that he just said, these are the things that we talk about very often, especially even on this very channel. Telling you one of the reasons why they want to ban CRT. And right here, a couple years ago, I showed you the Daughters of the Confederacy and how they infiltrated the school system, the school board. The school board is literally designed by way of these Daughters of the Confederacy that instilled what could be also referred to as critical race theory. Of course, it is critical race theory done and created and formulated by the dominant society of Klan and Confederate sympathizers. But that is what we have. And we have had that so long. So just like he said, what's the problem with telling the truth? Is that, see, and you hear these people say, well, these kids will feel that they're inherently racist and this and that. No, what they will feel is how you are raising them and the values that you're instilling in them are inherently negative, because they are. But what you want is that belief system that you have raised generations up on. You want them to just continue to believe that that is the right thing to do. And so if they look at themselves with all reality, then they would by no means be able to look at themselves and say, oh, well, this is legit. No. And then see, like he also said, the gaslighting part. You look at systems, right? So you have systems that are in place. And we say, okay, well, blacks ain't slaves no more. Blacks been free. Man, not like been. There's still less time free than time in bondage. So that's not really a great statistic to hang your hat on. Also, we have these other situations where they make provisions to get around so-called changing the law. But once again, since this is a Black History Month moment, we're going to go ahead and let these non-foundational Black Americans, non-melanated individuals share some things that, you don't normally hear from non-melanated people. So we're just doing that today and letting them share a little bit of Black history. And, this is American history. So this is how you know it's American history, because this is a non-Black American. Now, I'm not sure why it was necessary for him to do this video with no shirt on, but that's neither here nor there nor the point. But to the point of this next video, when people say we're free and people say, oh, Jim Crow isn't this and that, we're not doing this anymore. Watch this breakdown from this other non-melanated individual. And let me just say thank you, fellas, for your contribution to Black History Month moments. And this is your moment to share with the family right here on the beatzillapdx official show.
So a lot of people are asking exactly what is it that I saw? What truth did I see that made me change my perspective on our criminal justice system? And this is how it goes. So a person of color in the United States during the Jim Crow era faced disenfranchisement, second-class citizenship, barriers to voting, barriers to education, barriers to employment, and barriers to housing. Then in the United States, we passed the 1964 Civil Rights Act, the 1965 Voting Rights Act, that said that we can no longer do this, discriminate based on skin color. 21, what is the only label that we can legally discriminate against, that we can legally disenfranchise, relegate to second-class citizenship, have barriers to voting, barriers to education, barriers to employment, barriers to housing? If you guessed right, in 2021, convicted felons are the only people we are allowed to legally disenfranchise. Now, do you believe it's a coincidence that 1 in 3 African American males now carry this label of convicted felon as opposed to 1 in 17 white males that carry this label of convicted felon to legally be disenfranchised? Now, if you answered yes to that question, let's look at what's happened between the Jim Crow era and 2021. We've had a 700% increase in our United States prison population. We've gone from 300,000 inmates in 1970 to 1.8 million today and as high as 2.3 million. So in spite of crime rate dropping, our prison population skyrocketed. And it was because we had the law and order agenda. And the law and order agenda increased police spending but decreased our education funding. And by doing so, we created the school to prison pipeline. We also created the war on drugs, which we now know is a war on people. In 1986, we passed the Anti-Drug Abuse Act, which differentiated between powder cocaine and hard cocaine, which we now know disproportionately impacted people of color. We also had the 94 crime bill with the Truth in Sentencing Act, which led to higher incarceration rates and harsher sentences for people of color. And once I saw all this, my perspective changed, because I know that Jim Crow era never ended. Racism never ended. It just evolved into what we now have as the new Jim Crow, modern day.
Now, there is a very clear breakdown with statistics and facts right there. And again, not coming out of a black person's mouth, so you don't have to say, oh, well, you guys always saying this and you guys are always saying that. Here are statistical facts and also another just open admission of one's own culture. So you can't blame us and say, well, we're doing this, you're doing that. No. But if you do, Martin Luther King has this to say.
And a lot of white folk have demonstrated eloquently that they don't have no sense.
Absolutely. Now, so you heard that the professional gaslighters, professional liars. You know, when you have a liar, that's a deceiver. Another word for deceiver, another definition is devil. So when you're dealing with a system of white supremacy, I've said this nonstop, the religion of white supremacy is Satanism. And they have proven it time and time again. You see what a lot of these neo-Nazis are into. A lot of them are into that. A lot of these mass shooters, that's what they're into. And they're also on these message boards. It's all interwoven and interconnected. Same thing where all these people talking about replacement theory. These are also the anti-CRT people who don't want you to hear what? The truth. Now, who's to say what the truth is? Well, the truth is when you have the proof in the pudding. And like that man just read off the Jim Crow, modern day Jim Crow. I want to remind everybody, this is how we got here. And all of those statistics that man just laid out to why he does no longer have faith in the criminal justice system. This isn't a Democrat thing. This isn't a Republican thing. This is a dominant societal thing. And it has to be addressed on a societal level. Because as long as you guys you just go with, well, we could point the finger at this. No, until you would accept and atone for this type of situation. This is a perpetual situation of disaster. And here's how some of the things that have happened to the Black community have been able to get done because of that societal business and gaslit Black folks into fear to elect this man in office one more time at the highest branch, this time when he's already the one who initiated the numbers to which you just witnessed? And you'll hear him own all of that. So let's play this last little video, and then we're going to get ready to get on up out of here.
This crime bill, when it passes, the Biden-Hatch crime bill, as it becomes law, God willing, I hope that we will have ended, once and for all, this notion that is a hangover from the 60s, that somehow Democrats are weak on crime and Democratic presidents are weak on crime and Republicans are tough on crime. The truth is, every major crime bill since 1976 that's come out of this Congress, every minor crime bill has had the name of the Democratic senator from the state of Delaware, Joe Biden, on that bill, and has had a majority vote of the Democratic members of the United States Senate on the bill. So one of the things I want to do, in addition to ending crime, is end the political carnage that goes on when we talk about crime. Crime is not Democrat or Republican. Making the streets safe is not a Democratic or Republican issue. This is one of those issues I hope this passage of this bill will be taken out of the gridlock category and moved into an emerging consensus. And the consensus is as follows, and I will cease when I finish this statement. The consensus is, A, we must take back the streets. It doesn't matter whether or not the person that is accosting your son or daughter or my son or daughter, my wife, your husband, my mother, your parents. It doesn't matter whether or not they were deprived as a youth. It doesn't matter whether or not they had no background that enabled them to become socialized into the fabric of society. It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife, take on my sons. So I don't want to ask what made them do this. They must be taken off the street.
Family. Now, he's talking about us. He is talking about us. That's black people he's talking about. And yet and still, people's memories are so bad. They are so bad that you allowed this man to come and tell you this. The African American community stood up again for me. You always had my back and I'll have yours. You've always had his back and he's always had a knife in your back. And that's not new footage I just showed you, family. You got to understand what you're dealing with. This is Joe Biden's record. He's been there for all of these anti-black policies. And what he was doing in that forum was gaslighting. Gaslighting and saying anti-blackness is not a Republican or a Democratic issue. And it doesn't matter if these people have not had the fair opportunity, if they've been oppressed. It doesn't matter, because what matters is white people are going to be harmed. And that's what Joe Biden's record is with black people. So when people say, hey, when folks talk about Joe Biden, let's not talk about anyone else's plight that can call themselves black when they want to. Let's only talk about what he's done to this community here We have enough history here that needs to be addressed. And not only that, if you can only tell us about outside of this country, then that tells you the great disrespect to the foundational Black Americans in this country from the dominant society. Henceforth, what that man said, they are professional liars. And that's his words, not mine. This has been a Black History moment, a Black History Month moment, rather. And, you know, I hope we touched on a few different elements of conversation here. And following up the video before this, I wanted to kind of close it up with these facts. And when you have facts like this that do not come from our own voices, what can you now say? That you do not care for the truth. And that we already know. And now this person, this man right here, actually explains it very well why you have an issue with the truth. Because you have committed yourself to the father of lies. Babylon has fallen. So, with that being said, let me know what you think about this video in the comments. Please like and share and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. And you can also join this channel right now if you want to get some of the members-only content that gets uploaded on this channel. So you could go do that for $4.99. You can go ahead and join. And if you want to go ahead and support this broadcast, you enjoy this the content on this channel, you can definitely do so. All the links will be in the descriptions. So thank you, everyone, in advance. Peace, power, blessings, and protection be upon you and yours. So with that being said, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at beatzillapdx. And make sure you stay tuned. Hit that notification bell on this channel so you will know every time a video is uploaded or this channel goes live. With that being said, stay Black, stay vigilant, stay alive. Black first. Shalom, y'all.